Let's go and speak to the Palestinian human rights activist Mouad Khateb, whose father, Kamal, has been detained. Thank you very much indeed, Mouad. I understand you're in Kafr Kanna in Israel. It was Israeli police who detained your father on Friday. What's the latest with him?
He's standing to appear before the court today around the evening. We are not sure yet. The charges laid against him by the Shabak, the Israeli intelligence, is that he incites to violence and his membership, his affiliation with an illegal organization, referring to the Islamic Movement that was banned in 2015. So currently, he is waiting to appear before trial this evening.
Does he have any legal representation? Do you know where he is being held?
He is being held in Haifa, in Kishon prison, where the Shin Bet, the intelligence, has headquarters, and he'll be transferred to the court in Nazareth this evening. But we are not sure yet what time.
Mouad, what is your idea about why he may have been detained? Obviously, the Israelis have to give some kind of justification, but do you feel that there's something more going on? I mean, you are Palestinian citizens living in the state of Israel. Is that something that the Israeli security forces are particularly focusing on at the moment?
They are trying to silence every voice that reaffirms our rights, reaffirms our right of freedom of speech, our freedom of worship in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, for example, our sovereignty over our land. Any voice that is loud, they would accuse them of inciting to violence. Sheikh Kamal, like Sheikh Raed before him, the chairman of the Islamic Movement, is currently serving a time in jail, in the Israeli jail, for the exact same reason. Anyone who expresses an opinion that opposes the colonial views of Israel and its practices in Jerusalem, its aggression against Palestinians, is liable to be labeled, an inciter to violence, someone who provokes violence. Although actually, the only side who is doing violence is the Israeli, whether it is the police, whether it is the media, whether it is the settlers who are allowed to roam our cities freely and hunt down innocent Arab civilians and kill them for the very simple reason of being Palestinian, of being Arab. Yesterday, a whole family was burned in Jaffa with Molotov cocktails that were thrown into the house. People are still being hunted down. Actually, yesterday, when they came to arrest Sheikh Kamal, more than 40 injuries with live ammunition among the protesters who came to protest his arrest, because they know that he is being arrested only because he is, standing behind, his opinion of that Palestinians deserve to live in freedom and in dignity, and to get all the rights that they deserve, being the owners of this land and the original inhabitants of this land. So it's a political harassment. It's a political prosecution. It is obviously not something really. There's no legal basis of it. And anyone who voices such ideas is susceptible to being imprisoned by Israel.
Mouad, thank you so much indeed, and obviously best wishes for what happens with your father, Kamal. Really appreciate you joining us. Mouad Khateb, a Palestinian human rights activist, speaking to us from Israel.